Social Identity Mapping is a tool developed by the Social Identity and Groups Network at the University of Queensland. It is an intuitive and engaging way to encourage people to think about their group memberships and their sense of social connectedness, and to map out their social identity landscapes in ways which are informative not only from a research perspective, but also from the perspective of the person creating their map. Creating an online social identity map is easy, engaging and fun. You just click on a link which takes you to a website where you land on the online social identity mapping opening screen. This screen can be adapted for each different context in which you are working. From here, you click the Get Started button and away you go. The first thing you land on is a simple instruction pop-up. From the researcher or practitioner's perspective, this screen can be edited to speak directly to the particular population with whom you are working. We often use this pop-up to warm people up to the idea of groups, and we might give them some examples such as friends and family, work groups or demographic groups, activity groups, belief-based groups or more. To start, we ask people to put in a unique code, but this can be managed directly through a survey tool such as Qualtrics. The user then clicks to start the tutorial. The first thing that happens is that you're asked to add a group to your map, and you do this by clicking on the yellow plus button. You'll then be asked to name this first group, and we give you some examples to help you think about what this group might be. You then think about the importance of the group and choose the size of eNote to represent the level of importance. Next, the tutorial explains how to move the group around. To do this, you simply grab the little handle at the top of the eNote and slide the note around on screen with your mouse, trackpad, or finger if you're working on a tablet. Next, we want people to think more about their groups, and we do this by asking them questions about their groups. The tutorial tells you to click the red bar at the bottom of the eNote, and the questions then slide in from the right-hand side of the screen. The 4 basic questions that we ask are: how positive do you feel about this group? How representative or typical do you think you are of this group? How much support do you receive from this group? And how much time do you spend with this group? You can choose to answer these questions by moving the slider to your chosen number. If you've created a group that you no longer want to see in your map, you can delete it from here. It is worth noting that from a researcher or practitioner's perspective, these questions can be changed and adapted according to the needs of the context and the area of focus. So for instance, if you wanted to ask people how much support they received from their groups, as well as how much support they gave to their groups, this can easily be done by simply adding in another question or changing one of the existing questions. Getting back to the map creation process, once you've answered the questions, the tutorial then goes on to invite you to add another group to your map. You'll be asked to think about where to position the group in your map so that groups which are very similar are positioned close together and groups which are very different are positioned further apart. Next, and representing the final stage of the mapping process, you'll be asked to think about the connections between your groups. Are 2 groups compatible or do they clash? The tutorial explains how you can link groups together by clicking on the chain icon and dragging it from one group to another. Once done, you'll then be asked to think about the quality of that connection. Are these 2 groups compatible? You can choose from 4 different options. Groups which are very compatible would take a dark green link. Groups which are somewhat compatible will be represented with a light green link. Groups which are somewhat incompatible would have an orange link. And groups which are really incompatible would have a red link. Finally, as the tutorial concludes, we will ask you to go on to add as many groups as you like to your map, and you'll be reminded to click the Save button when you have finished. We wanted to make the online social identity mapping tool as easy as possible, and so if a person is stuck at any point and can't remember how to do something, for example how to link 2 groups together, they can simply click onto the yellow question mark bubble in the bottom right-hand corner. From here, there are a number of help options to start the tutorial again or to watch a help video. There are a number of videos available, each one representing a different stage of the map creation process. The videos are short, narrated screen animations explaining how to create a map. Once people think that their map is complete, they click the Save button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If there is anything they have forgotten to do, such as link some groups together or answer questions about one of the groups, they will get a friendly reminder that there is more that they can do to finish their map. From here, they can choose to go back into their map and add in some more information, or to finish anyway. People spend as long as they like creating their social identity map. They can add more groups, remove groups, move groups around, and adjust their group ratings at any time. There are many different ways that the online social identity mapping tool can be used. For instance, we can get people to create their map at one time point, and then at a different point in time, say a month or so later, or after an intervention perhaps, or a major life event, get them to create another social identity map or come back to their first map and edit it, thus allowing us to track changes in social identities over time. Every bit of data from the mapping process is automatically generated. This includes how many groups were in the map, how participants felt about their groups in terms of positivity, representativeness, support and time spent, and how compatible the groups were. All this data is easily accessed by simply downloading a CSV file. For more information about the online social identity mapping tool, please don't hesitate to get in touch with the Social Identity and Groups Network team.